Hello and welcome to Northern Ireland Alternative Timeline, a special Season 3 Christmas episode. Okay, my God. What is it, Jeffers? I was just going to go, sir. I'm actually, there's actually been a bit of recent news. Well, it's Christmas time, Jeff. Sorry. My cigarettes, see, you smoke. Yes. I took them up when I was Minister for Health. Right. Okay, so it's just a bit of news. Look. I'm just going to watch the speech, and then I'm going to go to bed and I'll enjoy myself. I just wish you a Merry Christmas, and then I'll be off. And then it's about Northern Ireland. What? I thought we got rid of those politicians. We had their man in. Well, yes, sir, that's sort of it. The way sometimes because we essentially still have the empire, we kind of lose sight of some of the countries that we rule over. And now and again, things happen, and it takes us a while to react. Well, it's just, you might want to see this. It's from BBC News. Okay. Hello and welcome back to BBC News. The headlines this evening: Northern Ireland continues to be plagued as drone strikes continue to happen over there. However, these drone strikes are not by terrorists or by a foreign military. These are by their own government. Political scientists say that this is the first example of fascism in its truest form present in the United Kingdom. Apparently, this is the future if we choose to go down that route. Oh, right, well, they're not, obviously we don't want to be associated with that, but we let them have the power. Yeah, that's sort of the problem, you see, sir, because, we essentially are allowed to veto anything. We can stop them from doing a lot of things. Not everything they're doing, of course, but technically at any moment we could stop them from having having the government. We could just stop that. So we could interfere in a lot of things, really. So it's just that this is what the Sun said about you. The new British Hitler. They're comparing me to Hitler. Yes. And you can see there's a full page with you with a Nazi banner and all that sort of thing. So that's unfortunate. My God. Well, what will I do? I'm going to have to deal with it somehow. Yes, sir. Yes, I understand. I'll leave you to make a decision. Oh my. How many have been killed today? Well, sir, around 20 people. 20 people? Huh? That's very high, isn't it? Well, sir, you remember when you gave the drones instructions to fire on anyone who looked suspicious? Yes, I did do that, didn't I? Well, this is what they turned up. 20 people. Have there been many bombings? Yes, sir, there have been an increase in bombings. However, the security cameras you placed did catch a few of the planters, or, well, actually they've narrowed it down to around 10 different suspects, and the protocol you put in place suggested that you should just, kill them all. Yeah, so, you can't be too careful because you know what they say, there's hardly much point in convicting an innocent person of a crime. Well, isn't that what you've done? No, you see, what I've done is ensure that the guilty person will definitely be convicted. Because you see, let's say you are a police officer. You can only arrest a single person for a crime. You can't say to the judge, oh, we're not sure between the two, so we'll have to sentence them both. No, you actually say, this one is guilty, or we can't find enough evidence, so we can't say either's guilty. And the point is, there are loads of people who get thrown in prison, or even in some cases get hanged, and given lethal injections, and all these things throughout history, and it's because they're thought to be guilty, but they're actually innocent. But the worst part of that is, because it goes down in history as that person was guilty, and if nobody investigates it any further, then you know what happens? Then the guilty person is never caught, and what that means is the guilty person never thinks that it's that they will be, they'll be killed. So that's why I just go and say, well, better be safe than sorry, kill the Lord. Right. Well, it's just that some have viewed this as very violent, and people are calling you a bit fascist. Well, I mean, in a way, I guess you could say I am, but I'm not really fascist. I mean, I would say I'm more along the lines of violent, yeah. It's just that your image isn't really that great in the world front. Some people have complained to the UN, and it's just that Britain might be getting a bit angry at your actions. What do you mean? I am simply the puppet for Britain, okay? If the Conservative government allow me to do something, then that's what they want. If they lose power and another government comes in and they continue to let me to do something, then that's their fault for letting me. Now, obviously, I am partially responsible. I am responsible for the actions. But you can't just say, oh, they're going to do something, because they haven't done something in the multiple amount of months it's been since I did this. So at the end of the day, who exactly is going to do something? Because not them. And in fact, they have a very, very high, level of power in the government. And they're not going to jeopardize that by calling an early election at any time soon. And anyway, our party is the majority of seats in this government. So, well, there was all the other parties that resigned, and allowed pretty much everyone in this party as well. Yes, but you stuck by. Yeah, I did, but it's just that, have you been aware of who you're replacing them with? Well, I replaced with people who follow the message, It just seems like a very undemocratic way of doing things, because the party you're representing has completely different views to what you're saying now. Well, you see, the thing is, this party, when you want to get into politics, communist, socialist, fascist, they're all a little bit on the whole extreme side. Now, that doesn't mean they're bad or good or anything really. What it means is people won't vote for you. So there will be some people who will vote for a fascist government, but they will most likely be wrong, because, extremes don't tend to work for the average person. So they may work for you, but that's kind of selfishness. And the whole point of democracy is that, people who are selfish, completely selfish, don't tend to get what they want in politics, because they need the majority of the people. But you see, I'm different, because I was wise enough to realise that, no one will want that, which means that if you have that, you're really asking for someone to just, get rid of you, because at the end of the day, are you truly going to take, I don't mean to offend communist governments, but they're not known to be the most effective. Fascist governments. You could argue that I'm going down a stupid road because, Hitler had to shoot himself, or he would have been fairly tortured, and Mussolini was also killed. So, I guess you could say the main fascists, the ones that draw the most light, the ones that were the most successful, were also the ones that had died shorter than they would have. But you have to embrace the danger, if you know what I mean. Yes, it's only that some people have been worrying, because you see, you do seem highly fascist, with the whole strong arm sort of thing, and the economic policies and all these things. Well, just take the economic policies. You might say, oh, I'm fascist, but at the end of the day, I'm still sticking to what the Conservative government want me to do. So, am I fascist? Am I not? Because obviously, yeah, but it just looks to people as if the only reason why you're not fully fascist is because the British government would be different to that in some respects. Not all, but in some respects, so that they're letting you go a bit extreme on their views, but they're not letting you go on views that they don't hold at all. Well, yes, I know, but do you know what a lot of people react to socialism in America? They're like, it's like an insult there. How is that different to how people view fascism? Well, maybe because socialism is kind of, it's a little bit, has some good policies, while fascism isn't really known to have any. Well, now that's not true. If you just look at some of the fascist governments throughout history, they provided very good support. Yeah, to people who, they wanted to provide it to. You can't really say, oh, look, I gave help to someone, but you didn't give help to the 10 other people. So, when you're elected to do that, you're elected politician, your whole purpose is to serve and, help out others. Yes, I'm sorry, can you, yes, I'm just wondering, why are you going down this line? Are you actually having an argument with me? You do know I control the trends, right? Yeah, that's sort of why. Because you see, here's the thing. We had a little deal with the previous government. What? What do you mean, we? Well, I'm part of a little group. You're part of a group. You mean you're like some sort of trade union? You're against like government? You came in here like a spy? No. We came in here before as protection for the previous leader. Oh, you mean not the old government? You mean the old before I took over? Yes. So you're here to protect me? That's what you're saying? I didn't realize. No. See, we were here to protect that man. But then, they got very angry with us. Because you see, we were supposed to protect them. And then, after you had him shot. What? Well, remember that time. He resigned, and you thought, well, I don't want him. He said he won't go for election again because he's disgusted by it, but, so you had him shot. Yeah, well, that wasn't, I didn't have him shot. I suspected that he was going to a Republican group. Yes, because they were very angered after he was about to introduce the redrawing of the whole country, and then you came along and that was scrapped. All those little policies that would appease them. Yes, well, you know what he was doing? He was just appeasing them because he had been threatened by them. Actually, we were there to protect him at that time. And, well, he was a target, yes, but mostly I think it was actually just trying to send them a message. He has the power to give you what you want. And, well, yeah, but, look, so, what do you mean? Are you saying you're resigning for my protection? No, we were never here to protect you. You see, before he left, he had a bit of a fear about what might come afterwards. So, he had us instilled as, civil servants. So obviously we couldn't be replaced, There was no way, there wasn't an ability where you could go and replace the civil servants. So, well, it meant that it didn't matter what government came in, as long as they weren't reformers of the civil service, then, well, we know where we'd be going. And that is why you see, killing him was not wise at all. Not wise at all, You see, here's the thing. Before he passed away, there was a little thing, a protection method, which was basically whoever was responsible for killing him, we would deal with permanently. You mean, what? What do you mean? Well, I mean that the gun you keep in your drawer is missing. The knife you keep taped under your desk is also missing. The pen that fires poison darts has been removed. The sword above your head that you keep for finger quotations, ornamental purposes, has been changed out for one that would probably break in two if you tried to hit someone with it. And the chair you've been sitting in had poison spikes placed in it that'll paralyze you. But about this is a difficult one to manage. Oh, it's already gone. Okay, sorry. So they paralyzed you, that right? Yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to deal with you. So one of the main things we do is kill you. Now you see, generally, if it was just a matter of him being killed, if he didn't have any, of his colleagues, which, you did kill quite a few of them. They were not killed by me. I was believing that some of them were consorting with unionist paramilitary groups, and some of them were consorting with Republican paramilitary groups and nationalist paramilitary groups. That was what the case was. I did not have them killed. And now, come on, you don't need to lie that kind of way to me. I know, because you see, now you might think this is very dishonest of me and traitor and all these things, but number one, I'd like to address the fact that I was never yours. I never swore allegiance to you, and even if I did, I wasn't willing. It was forced upon. I was just doing a job I didn't really want to do. But you see, this is the fun part for me. Because you see, ordinarily, I don't like this part. because I would generally just dump this job if there's nobody else to look on and say, why haven't you done the job? And there isn't. But you see, I got a bit of a pay rise for this job. Because you see, when you got into power, you didn't just shoot your opponents or your previous colleagues. You also killed multiple innocent people. And I stood by. I guess you could say I shouldn't have, but I hadn't been given my orders yet. But then I was. And you see, here's the thing. I'm now getting paid for killing you to end the contract. I'm also getting paid for killing you so that I remove a little shite off the face of the planet. So, well, how do I put this? Goodbye. What are you gonna do? Why are you gonna kill me? I can make you a deal with you. No deals, actually. The thing is, I'm not really interested in deals because I've got a more permanent plan. Think of us as the protectors of some, and there's a branch of us that deal with the shites of the earth like yourself. You know, and all those, those laws that were brought into place, remember that law that was supposed to be brought in place where if you murdered someone in a way where you could stop murdering them, like if you murdered them with a implement, you bashed it over their head and something, they're still alive, then you got 30 years in prison, save, I think it was 25 for, just down murder, and rape was supposed to be extended to 25. Well, little fella, he didn't even go to prison, and I just decided to shoot him the last day. Shame, really, because it turned out he was a lot more evil than I thought. Should have done more than just shoot him, I guess. Please, I don't want to. No one really wants to die. Well, no one in power does. That's the thing, you see. That's the problem with power and money. It means your life is pleasurable. It doesn't mean you're living from little pleasure to little pleasure. It means your life is one endless, long pleasure line. And now and again there are interruptions, sadness, grief. For some people, of course. For others, like yourself, there aren't. And that's the thing. You have lots to lose, but so many others don't. That's why we don't kill them. Because what would be the point? They already have sadness. They already have misery. They don't need cruelty. They really don't. They need their lives to be better. Because you can never truly judge a human if you're comparing them based on social class or whatever position they're in, or psychological upbringing. But you really are a shite of the earth. Okay, so I have recent news for you. Oh yes, I always think we should let them continue. Just have a crackdown on the media. Just sort of say, I think it's disgraceful that you're comparing someone who's brought such great politics and great things to the country. Well, actually, you haven't really done that, sir. Well, I know that. I know. I've only been in power a few months, and most of the good policies that I've introduced have been, essentially in the works when the last party was in power. So, yeah, that's true. I understand that. But the thing is, they don't. They do those, so that's not that hard to understand. It's very simple. Now, I know they don't, but they can't say that because otherwise they sound like they're, against the government and all this sort of thing. And the public wouldn't believe them anyway. Yes, well, the public will believe them on this. What is it? The leader of the non-workers' party, formerly known as, the Peace Party of Northern Ireland? Yes. Well, that's, it's, I guess it's bad news, but also good news. What? He's been shot. He's been what? He's been shot. I mean, there's been an attack on him. Well, a little bit more than that. He's been killed. Shot through the head, close range. They also found a paralytic in his veins. Oh, he was paralyzed and then shot. Yes, apparently it would have meant that he wouldn't have been able to oh, you mean he wouldn't have been able to cry out? No, he would have been able to do that. We don't know actually why he didn't. We actually don't know why a lot of things didn't happen. For example, you know the way a lot of the government buildings these days have been given security cameras, this man was very, very paranoid. So he had a lot of security cameras and a lot of safety measures. They were one of the best quality security cameras in the world, really. For there was 5 main ones, 10 hidden ones, and they were saved to 2 locations, and they were also saved to the cloud. He also had muzzle audio recorders, and there was the cameras were able to burn through, and if you try to cover them, they could burn through materials. So he's maybe that was the reason, but we caught the murderer on camera. Sorry, you caught the murderer on camera. Sure, that's great. Yes, it turns out we don't actually need to do an investigation. Right. So isn't it better? Well, maybe it's just it was his aide, his 007 Oh, really? That is an issue, yes. And the 007 aide is apparently not from Northern Ireland. Oh, they're from the Republic, are they? No, they're not actually even English. So we don't know where they're from. No, we do. They're from Canada. And, they've got no criminal record, and apparently they don't have any fingerprints on file. So there really is a cold trace. We don't know where they came from. We just know who they are, and they've disappeared. So, yes. I think this may be an issue. Well, yes. I think we might have to introduce a direct rule again. Because of the murder. And, now that I mention it, maybe call off the drone strikes. It doesn't look good when we've got a Dominion under our control that is, essentially killing its own people. It probably doesn't look that good, yeah. So yeah, so we can call off the drone strikes and just basically reverse any of the policies we disagreed with. There you go. Anyway, I have to go to my Christmas celebrations. Yes, happy Christmas, sir. Oh, yes, and happy Christmas to you too, efforts. I hope you enjoy your Christmas as well. When we get back, I'm sure we'll have lovely conversations about Northern Ireland. Oh, by the way, you can tell the Sun that I will no longer be continuing to allow this. And try and get it in just before they find out. Try and get it in before they find out that he was murdered, because it sounds better. I will do that, sir. Thank you for listening to this Northern Ireland Alternative Timeline, a Smithco original fiction show about politics in another country, in another timeline, in another world. if you'd like to subscribe to the Smithgate YouTube channel, you can. You can also view other content. If you're listening to this during Christmas time, we've got loads of stuff available. Christmas facts, Christmas music, all these things. Christmas easy. So yes, thank you for listening. And once again, if you enjoy this episode, you can watch other episodes or listen to them, depending on what you call it. So once again, I'd say this to you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you. And we hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Unless you're not listening to this at Christmas time, you're listening to it another time, in which case, have a nice day, I guess. Because people do that, people watch and listen to Christmas content. It's, when it's not Christmas time, that's fine. That's, if you want to do that, that's up to you, but, that's fine. No problem there, But just if that's what you're doing and you're not at Christmas time, then Merry Christmas is probably not really applicable to you. So we'll say thank you and have a nice day.